Tomorrow is decision day for yet another of those structures thought to have special meaning to some part of this city. Tomorrow, the Board of Adjustment will determine the future of the old Lakewood Library, sold in 1971 to help cover the cost of a newer and larger building. There are many sides to the matter, and here are spokesmen for 4 of them: the present owner, the Lakewood businessmen, the Historic Preservation League, and the former owner, the City of Dallas.
When I was asked to consider the purchase of the building, it was with the intent that I would erect a Pizza Hut building on there for the use of the Pizza Hut people. This was the original intent. This was, of course, discussed at the City Council meeting where my purchase of the building was consummated with the City of Dallas.
The Lakewood Merchants Association has been working with a group called the Lakewood Planning and Design Committee. They have been working very closely with the Department of Planning and Urban Development for an overall master plan for this center. And part of that plan included the development of this particular location and the streets that abut on this property. And it would be very desirable from our standpoint if this building could be used as is, even if it were used for the Pizza Hut operation. As I understand it, there is a contract with Pizza Hut at this point to destroy the building and rebuild a smaller facility.
The big problem that came up that I was not aware of at the time I purchased the building was that any use of the building other than as a library would mean that the prospective tenants would have to meet the parking requirements as if it was a brand new building that was just being built. And due to the limited parking in relation to the new building requirements, there just wasn't enough parking available under these new building regulations to accommodate anything but office space.
The Pizza Hut project went into limbo for 2 years because of business mergers. The parking problem proved insurmountable for several parties trying to find tenants for the old library, and it remained dismal and vacant. Then, late last year, the Pizza Hut plans revived, and the owners petitioned the Board of Adjustment for a variance necessary to erect a smaller building that would fit the troublesome parking restrictions. But something else had risen in the interim, an awareness of the past. Now there was an historic landmark ordinance. The Lakewood Library, as a possible candidate for such designation, acquired a different value.
This particular building has had a very rich past in the East Dallas community, in that it was the site for the original Cabell's ice cream parlor, and then later was developed as the East Dallas Library. East Dallas is redeveloping, and the redevelopment is very much based on the oldness of the buildings and the historic value of the atmosphere and of the early 20th century. And this building is very much a symbol of that kind of feeling and the kind of people that are living here now.
Now, this building has been identified as prospectively having historical value. It has not been appraised. The proposal is to have it appraised by competent authority. We sold the building when we abandoned its use as a library. And we would use those regulations to urge the owner to preserve it, but we are not funded to acquire it.
The city needed the money more than the facility at the time the Lakewood Library was sold. Now there's a chance it could use the building again, this time as a tenant.
We have plans to establish an outpost in this general area to concentrate some efforts at conserving that community, and we have a need for some space. Now, that approach to the conservation of it would be from a purely corporate approach, the operation of the City of Dallas.
If the city cannot buy the building, and we cannot find someone else to buy it before Tuesday, the Board of Adjustment will most likely grant the variance that has been requested by the present owner. And at that time, the sale will go through, and a demolition permit has already been issued. And the building feasibly could be demolished Tuesday night if the present owners or the new owners so desired.
We would still have time for someone to come up, for the community to come up with someone to take over that contract, because there is some little time between the time the variance is granted and the actual closing of the purchase. And Pizza Hut and myself have committed not less than 2 weeks after the variance is granted to still assign this contract, for Pizza Hut would assign this contract to a prospective buyer.
If the climate in the year you sold the building were the same as it is today, would you have sold it?
We'd probably offered it for sale then on terms that the building would have been conserved by the succeeding owner if it had been declared to be a building worthy of historical preservation.